Tune in to episode 84, Between Two Bridges. We talk a little bit about the U.S. Open and a little bit about check fraud.
You're listening to Between Two Bridges, a business-to-business podcast. With your hosts, Joe Ferranti and Jerry Kenna. Produced by Nathan Kenna. Interviewing entrepreneurs, business operators, and investors. This episode is brought to you by Wash, because laundry shouldn't cost your time. Wash delivers. Sign up at pickupwashdeliver.com. Do the wash. Skip the hassle.
Between Two Bridges, episode 84. You fuckers thought you got rid of me? I'm back. Better than ever.
Back and better than ever. Overworked, underpaid.
Yeah, that's been this will come out after the winner of the U.S. Open's been declared and all the fun has been done.
You gonna take your guess?
Oh, guy shot 66 today. So
I didn't even get to watch it.
JJ Spawn shot 66 and
at Oakmont when everybody was saying it's unplayable.
Right, and what was crazy is there's been 10 U.S. Opens now, so there's been over 8,000 rounds played of golf in the U.S. Open. He's the the eighth to go bogey-free. Not a single bogey on the scorecard. He'll shoot 79 tomorrow. So, it's coming. It is, that course is living the bill. Like, to see Rory McIlroy hit a golf ball 13 yards.
What's par?
70.
So 4 under.
Yeah. And, that's what makes Johnny Miller 63 and 73 so impressive. Like, I just heard a story, and that's what's so cool about this. Like, you hear all these old stories about Oakmont. So, in 1973, when Miller, on Saturday, he shot 76. He shot 6 over, and he forgot his, they had these rangefinder devices they used to use, but he, forgot his in his hotel room. So, he was just fucked from Jump Street, and he thought he was out of it. And then he let his hair down on Sunday and shot 63, which is still the lowest final round at any U.S. Open. And he did it at Oakmont. So, we've been doing, and it's what we hope for. We talked about this, 2 years ago. We had Amanda Lee on. I saw her at the merchandise tent. She's killing it. I think she said she sold 140 sets in the first hour at $140. So I don't know what her cut is, but we're going to have to get her back on here.
Yeah, she's doing okay.
Yeah, everybody up there is doing okay. It's there's a lot of moving parts to that.
Yeah.
So one of the things I've been doing is, I'm working with the security company cleaning their uniforms, and we're getting we're in the back road, on the other side of the turnpike up on the hill. There is so much going on there, shipping, receiving, all day, every day.
It's like a little city there.
Yeah, there's hundreds of motorcycle cops and state troopers everywhere, and they don't, they kind of said this at the meet and greet 2 weeks ago. The guy from the USGA said, when you go to a Steeler game or you go to a hockey game, those places are physically built for that, and they're there year round. But they bring this show on the road. So the USGA has been great to Oakmont. They've donated money to the Riverside Park for lights. They're going to get permanent lighting.
Oh.
Yeah, that's part of what they've started doing. I guess I forget when it was, but maybe 2020, they were in Boston. They played a course there, and they planted 120 trees and redid a park for them. So every year that they have these tournaments somewhere, they try to give back a little bit, and that's pretty cool. Obviously, it's the biggest show on grass right now. People are coming from miles away. It's been impressive to see. I think I was telling you or somebody about, they have that center lane on Halton Road blocked off, and they're police escorting the golfers up the middle lane.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I tried to get in that middle lane the other day because security was we need shirts, we need our shirts. I'm I'm coming, I'm in traffic. Call down, get me a police escort. Because I've always wanted that. Maybe you got your motorcycle today. Maybe you can give me one back.
I may have an inside track on that center line. center lane. So
I thought is your uncle with this UP? He's with the Pitt Police.
he's with Pitt.
I think I saw him today.
Yeah, he's working it.
Yeah.
He's working that center lane.
Is he? Yeah, I see him on Fifth Street.
He
Yeah,
probably could have gotten you that escort.
maybe tomorrow I'll see if he's there. I'll just get one for fun. So I figured the only time I'll get a police escort is either if I'm in the back of the police car.
Yeah, we were joking around today because I was on my way to work. So the first part of this week during the practice rounds, it's not really been that busy traffic-wise. It's been actually less traffic than a normal morning.
Yeah.
So I haven't had any trouble getting to work. It's been nice. Well, this morning was a different animal. There were cars everywhere. So it was really difficult to get across the bridge. So I had a stop in Oakmont this morning, and he had called me, and I was with a client, and I called him, and like you said, I have my motorcycle today, and I called him, and I'm like, dude, I got to get across that bridge. There's traffic everywhere. I don't know how I'm going to get over there. And it was like 9:15, and it was like 9:45, and I had a 10 o'clock appointment, and I jokingly said, I have a 10 o'clock appointment. I hope I can make my 10 o'clock appointment. And he told me, he's like, come up to Fifth. I'm at Fifth Street. There's no traffic up here, and Halton's moving pretty good. So I scooted through town and got to Fifth Street and came down, and I was able to get across pretty good. And I called him when I got here, and I actually got to the office at 9:15. So it only took about a half an hour, about 15 minutes longer than usual, but I was able to get through. And I told him, I was like, I was just glad was just hoping I was going to get here by 10. And he goes, buddy, I'd have gotten you there. And I said, what, was I going to get a police escort? He goes, buddy, I'd have gotten you there, bud. If it would have come down to it, we'd have gotten you there.
Yeah, I saw.
There's a couple extra police here. We'd have gotten you through that traffic.
Yeah, I saw Spieth coming up, and I thought that was kind of cool. Like, I watch golf every weekend, so it's kind of cool to see these guys. So one of the things that was like the Monday, I was coming down Halton Road, and Scotty Scheffler, world number one, was going up Halton Road. And like, there's not too many times where like I do a double take, but I was like, holy shit, like he's number one, man. So it's been cool. It's always cool to be part of these things. That same day, on Monday, like my Monday was like, wow. So I left, I did what I had to do. I had to go to Cam Hayward's golf event, Impact, Irons for Impact. So I'm running around all morning, and sometimes you just forget to take a piss. So I drive all the way to Sewickley, and I go into the bathroom to go, like, I know right where the bathroom is. So I'm like, I'm going right there before I even like do anything. I walk in, and who's there? Pittsburgh Steeler QB number one, Aaron Rodgers, like scrolling through his phone. And we had a great conversation. It was, he's very insightful. He wanted to get his bearings straight. It was weird because like not a lot of people in Pittsburgh are like, are we north of the city? Are we south of the city? Like he wanted to know like where he was physically. And so we just kind of talked a little bit, and the rumors are not true. I guess he didn't buy a house in Mount Lebanon. He's still looking for where he's going to live. And it was just wild because I've heard this dude's name every day for 8 months about how he's coming here. And I don't really care who the quarterback of the Steelers is. Like I feel like this is a year that they need to, because he's 41. He's our age, which is kind of wild.
It is wild.
But yeah, I mean, we actually talked about Riverside Park and the lights. Because I told him we played our football in high school on Saturday afternoons, and he was like, "What? Nothing's better than Friday night lights." And I'm like, "Unless you went to a really small school, because then like all eyes were on us on Saturdays." But yeah, so very, very kind of unique name dropping here. So I met DK Metcalf there. These guys a lot of them are younger than us, So it's like hard to like get.
It's hard to realize, like, I don't know, like, I don't know about you, like. I don't think of myself as an adult sometimes. Like, I still think of myself as a kid.
I agree.
So when you look at these guys on TV, it's hard to realize
that I don't want to interrupt you, but like 90% of the world thinks of me as a kid still.
Yeah, well, that's true.
so I just agree with them.
But it's hard to think that these are actual kids, and we're old men.
Yeah.
To them. You know what I mean? These kids are in their like early 20s. We got 20 years on some of these guys.
I just had a young girl at Target the other day say, "Sir, if you want to go ahead of me," because I was like holding all my shit, because that's what men do. Like we don't get a cart. We're like, we're good.
Yeah, we just
I'm like standing there. She's like, I'm like, nah, I'm good. She's like, "Sir, but if you want to," I'm like, you serve me one more time. I'm dropping all this shit and leave because my feelings are hurt. But yeah, I mean, yeah, that's why, like, I don't know when it started for me. I think the last jersey I ever bought was Ben Roethlisberger's.
Yeah.
And John Steigerwald used to always say, like, I'm not going to take a picture with another grown-ass man. Like, you know, and it's the truth. It becomes that balancing point, you know. But, I mean, it is unique to think of, like, how much these guys make, what they do. I mean, in, like, Cam's regard, like, the dude's constantly giving back. Like, and they're like politicians without the voting. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. And the good ones know how to balance that and be respectful, because I think even if you're a janitor, you know, you don't want someone walking around saying you're an asshole.
Yeah. But
for these guys, it's important too, like their image. But yeah, it was an eventful day that day. We met a lot of good people, and they raised a lot of money. I always thought, like, for years, I would think, if you make the money that these athletes make, why do they do this? Like, why are these events taking place? Because let's just say they made $100,000. Wouldn't it be easier for them to write a check, you know, for $100,000 and just not have to worry about it? But I was talking to somebody there, and they said the reason why athletes do stuff like this because it compels other people, to give that wouldn't normally give. And it was like, oh, it makes sense. So, and they're in a weird spot. Like, the general public, like, I see the comments on shit like, we're looking at they're going to have a celebrity softball tournament. And I was looking at the comments about, like, oh, yeah, we were there. They wouldn't sign any autographs for adults. Like, I'd never pay to go back again. I'm like, it's $16 for the ticket, and your butt hurt because you didn't get an autograph? You know? And they're doing that at the Open. Like, for the practice rounds, the sign said, kids autograph zone only. Because it's not all. Yeah, I mean, like, you're going to get a signed flag by Brooks Koepka and then go put it on eBay. It's not what that's for, right. You know? So, I had a funny story about getting an autograph as a kid. I don't even know who the guy was. I think it might have been Hal Irwin. And I was young, and he was signing my T-shirt. And he goes, you know why I love signing my autograph so much? And I'm like, I don't know. He goes, because I love dotting the I's, and just stabbed me with the marker on his eye. Like, really? Like, jokingly, like, it was like, I love dotting the I's.
It's funny.
So, I mean, so it's a double-edged sword. They got to be good, but they got to watch. But yeah, it was a unique day Monday. I thought, like, I was at the ESPYs for a second. Like, I just saw the world #1 golfer.
Hobnobbing with the rich and famous.
Rubbing elbows with the rich and famous. A lot of good, like, you know, and you don't make any money at those events. Like, it's not what you're there for. Like, no. You don't put a tip jar out. But you do meet these people and these connections. Mm-hmm. And trust is the biggest thing in business, you know? Mm-hmm. People in our industry, people want to trust you. Your industry, I mean, pretty much every industry, trust is a big one. So, yeah, a lot of connections made, and hopefully we can get some of those people on the show.
Yeah.
I reached out to the USGA. We got a list of people that are big contributors to the outing, that are local, that are vendors. We're trying to do something like go up there, and they gave us a go ahead, right? But it was like we were on our own time, like walking up to people, bothering them. I was like, that's not us.
When we talked about that, I thought, you know, as busy as they are up there, the last thing they want to do is stop and talk to us.
Yeah.
You know, it's chaos up there.
Yeah, I mean. So Thomas Construction, I've never even heard of them. They put all the roads in, and they, up until like Monday, they were moving a lot of aggregate. It was impressive. So we have a lot of contact information for those people. So I'd like to get some of them on. But they do a really good job too. Like, there's a catering company up there. It's called Ridgewell's, and I think they're based out of like Maryland. But they do every U.S. Open, because when they find someone they like, they stick with them. And they just bring them with them, you know, like, so it's very cool.
Yeah.
Oakmont Bakery's cleaning up. They have box lunches for like all the employees up there. It's pretty wild. Yeah, I mean, they do a great job. So I'll be excited to watch it over the weekend. See what happens. I mean, the economic impact is definitely hitting home right now.
Yeah.
So, because I'm like one small part of it. My parents are doing a lot of work for them too. And I'm thinking, we talk every day, and I'm like, our poundage is like through the roof, like, and so is theirs. And I'm like, how do I like figure out a way to do this on site? Like, do I just build a tractor trailer out and just show up and be like, we're here, we got you, you know?
Can you do that?
Tide has one. Procter & Gamble has a mobile laundry truck.
How do you get the water?
So I guess they'd have to have a city hookup for you. The discharge would be like more important. You have to be hooked into like a sanitary drain because like 20 years ago you'd let it shoot it over the hill. Who gives a shit? But nowadays they wouldn't let you do it. It could be done, I'm sure, like a tie-in, like a clean out somewhere. But I mean, I'm probably gonna do about 5,000-6,000 pounds of laundry. I mean, we're well on that pace right now, which, normal week we do 500. So, but I mean, it's been a lot of work, but it's fun to be part of it, I told you this on the way here. It's fun to be part of the grind, like I think when I got sick last week, you catch yourself like, I'll do that tomorrow. I'll get on it. And then you get sick and you lose tomorrow. And then you're like, oh shit. And then you like kind of feel bad for yourself and you're like, oh, can't feel bad for yourself. You just got to keep grinding. So like the baseline for me is now my grind is moved now that I've been doing like 17, 18-hour days. Like when they're gone, like put a good 12 in every day. You'll be better off for it,
Yeah.
Like you don't make any extra money by going to the swimming pool with your kids. I mean, I love that time, but like that'll be there, Like you got to watch because like the 1 o'clock on a Thursday swimming pool trips with your kids is not where you need to be. Like, yeah, Saturday, Sunday,
absolutely
6 o'clock on a Thursday, that's fine. But when you catch yourself starting to put off shit till tomorrow at work, then you're living that life that like people think that you deserve as a business owner, and you're like, wait a second, this isn't what paid our bills. This isn't what got us here. You get back into it. So
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I got a real reality check the last couple and it started a week ago on a Sunday at 9 a.m. Like they called, they were like, hey, we're in a pinch. We have a ton of dirty laundry. Can you come get it? And I'm like, yeah, I'm on my way. Like, let's go. But to the traffic standpoint, if you go across the New Ken Bridge and the other way, I haven't hit traffic. It's like a 3-minute extra drive out of my way, but like I'm cruising right in.
That's what I did today. I had an appointment in Plum, and coming from here, I knew I wasn't going to be able to go through Oakmont and go over the bridge. That was just going to be a nightmare. So I went up 28 North to the Creighton exit over the New Ken Bridge and Greensburg Road. And it took about half an hour, which it probably would have taken that anyway.
Yeah. So at 9 o'clock at night, though, you just cruise right through.
Yeah.
They did it nice last night. They pushed all the cones in. So because like the other night, it was like real tight. And everybody at night was like, grandpaing it up there. But yeah, I mean, I bought the new van just in the nick of time because I was laughing because I love my Kia, But I was like, could you imagine me pulling up with 260 pounds of laundry?
How's 260 pounds of laundry fit in that van?
Very easily. Yeah. It's all flat and just, I mean, it covers the whole footprint of the floor and a couple of double stacks. But they, what's unique is like, when I did this, I thought, they said jackets, polos, vests, pants. So I'm like, okay, I can't count on there being many jackets. It was 88 degrees today. I have probably 140 jackets, Gore-Tex rain fleece line jackets to clean tonight. I'm like, what are they doing with these things? Like, is this a ski trip that they're on? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, what are they doing? It's hot.
Yeah, I don't know. But a lot of people from California, and I'm like,
maybe, yeah.
But I'm thinking like, okay, you're from California.
It's 60 degrees in the morning though.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Hey, keep wearing them. They're a pound a piece. Keep wearing them. Don't stop. So
what do you do? Weigh it all in whenever you bring it in?
No, we weigh it when it's clean. I should weigh it when it's wet. Buy your vet. If I weighed it when it's wet, like right out of laundry, buy you a vet, Nate gets a vet, it'd be like Mr. Deeds up in this bitch.
Yeah.
So I laugh when I was saying to the girl, I said, the professional dry cleaner compared to just someone doing laundry, I know how much just to dry it. So there's still a little bit of water in there so I can get paid a little bit extra. So.
Just kidding.
No, yeah. We're by the book. Allegheny County's would be upset, because they have to check our scale.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so funny to think like, the economic impact for Pennsylvania is
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to take their cut. Like, I'm going to get a W-9 from this company, and
Yeah, I'm sure.
everybody's going to take a cut, you know? And, but as a business owner, like, that's what you do it for. Like, I wish it was here every year and twice a year.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that's a nice thing too. And I think we talked about that the other day on the phone. You know, years ago when the US Open came, you'd go and we didn't know if they were ever going to come back.
Yeah.
When they would come back. And now we've got the next, 4 scheduled?
4 scheduled, and they're doing 11 events over the next 23 years. So, I mean, obviously, like, the Walker Cup won't be as big.
And the Women's Open will come back, but that won't be as big.
And then I think one of the last ones scheduled is the Women's Amateur. And that would make Oakmont like the first course to ever host the Men's Women's Open, the Men's Women Amateur. So, like, they're very in tune to the tradition of Oakmont being first. Today, I thought what was the most, like, watching it on TV, like, this golf course was designed in 1903. And yeah, they've made, like, tweaks and they've made it longer. But the golf course isn't, like, the longest golf course. These guys are just struggling, like, and it's cool to watch because they were asking the guys when they were walking off after the practice round, like, what do you think an 18 handicap would shoot here? And like, some of the guys were like, they wouldn't even finish. Like, it would be a bloodbath for an 18 handicapper, like, to play that course right now. And that was, I mean, I've played some good golf in my life. Like, I play some pretty subpar golf now. Like, I'm okay. But people, when I was younger and was shooting, you know, in the 70s, people would be like, what's the best round you ever shot? And I was like, 88. And they're like, well, you shot 76 today. I'm like, yeah, but I shot 88 in 2007 from the tips at Oakmont a week before the US Open. And a guy on the day 1 of the US Open shot 92. And I was like, I could have played with those boys today. Like, I would have made the cut. But yeah, they're going to struggle. And it's, I mean, if it's dry again tomorrow, I could see the cut being somewhere right around 8 plus, like 8 over par. And that's usually like 1 under, 4 under. So, and everybody's always in contention at Oakmont because the guy shot 4 under today, he'll probably shoot 78 tomorrow.
I think I read, you can correct me, you'll know if I'm wrong, but did I read that the best finish at Oakmont ever in a U.S. Open at Oakmont was 5 under?
I'd have to think. I know Dustin Johnson ended up finishing 3 under because he got a penalty stroke. I mean, I don't know what else was. I think I read in the Business Times. I think I remember in the Pittsburgh Business Times that the average U.S. Open winner at any course is about 11 under, but the best winner at a U.S. Open in Oakmont in history was 5. Well, in 2007, when Angel Cabrera won it, I think he was +4 and won. So, like, it's a testament. Like, and like, geographically, we live here, so we understand it. So the turnpike runs through the middle. So, like, it pulls into the middle, and then the rest of it runs off the cliff towards the river. But somehow the front side leans towards Halton Road. So, like, if you're like at Pebble Beach, everything's going to fall towards the ocean, period. It's just the way it is. So the golfers can kind of plan for that. But here, there's all kind of false fronts and weird angles, and it just is like the geometry to play that golf course. I mean, it is mentally exhausting to try to play that golf course well. Like, if you're just out there and you just want to hit some golf balls and have fun. But, like, when I was playing well, it was a drain to, like, because, like, one bad tee shot, you're in the rough, you know, you're done. Over the backside on 1, you're done. Like, from start to finish, you have to be on your mental game, like, to play that golf course. And that these guys have said it. Like, DeChambeau said he called it the beast. Scotty Scheffler, world number 1, said he played it in 16. He said hardest golf course he's ever played in his career. And, like, they play a lot of golf.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a jewel for us to have it here. Sorry, Plumboro. You get 0 street cred, dude.
Nah, everybody says it's Oakmont. It's Oakmont. Meanwhile, it's Plumboro.
Yeah, and it's I just, it's wild. And the guy that Henry Phones sold his company, I think, to like U.S. Steel or something. He had a steel company, and I guess he had a disorder where like his vision was going, right? They thought he was going to go blind. So he liquidated all his assets. Turns out he kept his vision, but him and his son designed that golf course to be the hardest golf course in the world. Like he wanted it to be link style. And they were out there with shovels, dude. There was no machinery. And they built, it's the 5th ranked golf course in the world. And after this open, and they get to showcase it again, it'll probably go to like 3. But it is the hardest golf course in the world in our backyard. So, I mean, other than putting alligators in the fairways, I don't know how they can make it much harder. You know what I mean? Like, I've seen a lot of the back end of it, which, I mean, security is intense. I mean, we're talking like state police have tactical teams, like on the ready, like, because anytime you put that many people in one place, you know, after 9/11, it's a target zone. And I mean, it's just really impressive to see. And like people are like, oh, fuck this traffic. It's like, come on. Like it's 4 days. Like you said, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday was fine.
Yeah, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday was fine. Today wasn't, it added 15 minutes to my commute.
In the morning, the time you were going. Like if you were going at noon, like after that morning, I mean, today was like the big kickoff, you know? So like 6:45 was the first tee time today.
And the manpower that they had as far as police at every intersection. I mean, there's no shortage of manpower trying to get traffic through town.
That's the first time I can remember seeing all state police. I want to say in 16 they had Oakmont cops. The only time I've seen a local cop.
I remember Allegheny County Police motor officers last time. I remember seeing that because I remember specifically being like, I didn't realize Allegheny County had motor officers at that time. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
So I remember seeing them last time. And I don't think I saw any yet this time. So there's a lot of state this time. I know there's a lot of state troopers. I know the University of Pittsburgh's here. I know there's a lot of city cops here.
Yeah, I was shocked to see the university, but I mean, they pull resources from wherever they can get them.
Oh, yeah.
And what's nice about, like, they had it in 16, so we're here, you know, 9 years later. And then we have it again in 9 years. So, like, all the legwork's done. Like, the University of Pitt Police Department knows how to handle what they got to handle.
Yeah, and the University of Pittsburgh's police motor unit, they do a lot of escorting. They do a lot of that kind of stuff. They take their motor unit real serious. Yeah. So they know their shit with this kind of stuff. So that's why they got called on for this stuff. Yeah,
the guy that I know that works for them, he's got his shit together and he can grill like a son of a bitch.
He's like, a dick.
Yeah. I'm like, every time I've ever made anything on the grill, I think about like hashtag or tagging him in it. Because I'm like, I'm really proud of this. He'd appreciate it. But it's been like 2 things.
Yeah.
My hamburgers and hot dogs wouldn't impress him. Yeah, I mean, the other aspect of it is like, I thought, you know, like everybody, Sunday it's over, right? Well, I was meeting with like my contact, and they were like, nah, you're on the clock till the 19th. Like, we have to secure the grounds until the 19th, and then we'll go to a real skeleton crew because they'll like lock gates and stuff. But like, they got people in the woods along the turnpike, like just chilling with their box lunch. Like,
so will they be there until they get everything torn down?
Yeah, I mean, they'll do a lot of that. Now half their team's gonna go to the PGA event next week. I mean, this company, they have it figured out, and they must be like synonymous with golf. But I mean, they've secured. They did work at the inauguration. Like, they have armed officers. They have snipers. They're like legit. I had a really cool conversation with a guy that works for them. He's like an 82-year-old gentleman, Jimmy C, and he played baseball with Roberto Clemente.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, back in the day. He won a World Series with the Dodgers. And that's what, you know, there's all these people coming in town. Yeah. I saw a white limousine going down the hill the other day, and I'm like, you wonder who's in that, you know, like, you don't see too many limos. Like, what's up with that? And Trump might come, you know, so that would be cool. He was here 2 weeks ago. He was in Oakmont when he came and spoke down at Clareton Works.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Apparently he came up and was on the grounds at Oakmont. So, yeah, not that everybody was excited to see him, but, they say there's 12 snipers and plus the one in the bushes, but yeah, I mean, it is brought a national, I mean, I was folding clothes today working and they did an aerial shot and my plant is on Heron, which is lock 3, right? And there was an aerial view of lock 3 dam and I was going to run outside and see if I could see myself. So I don't fanboy out too much, but on myself, if I can get on some, hold my wash sign up, come do some cleaning, So, and yeah, my brother, my brother and my stepdad, my mom, they're doing a lot of work up there. It's the names that they're throwing around, they're it's cool, Yeah. So I was kind of pissed, and I'm gonna continue to be pissed throughout the rest of the week. I don't know how the USGA missed it, but how is Iron City not the official beer of the US Open at Oakmont? It's literally built. It's made over the hill.
Who is the official beer?
Corona.
Corona.
Yeah, I mean they must have deep pockets.
InBev.
Is that what it is? Yeah. I mean nobody even likes Corona. There's not a beach within a. Well, I guess what's that? There's a beach down in Oakmont there.
I don't think it qualifies. I don't think it qualifies.
Thank you for listening. And now a brief word from our sponsor. You've got a full plate. Kids, meetings, workouts, side hustles. There's better things to do than laundry. Introducing Wash, laundry reimagined for the modern world. Schedule your pickup in seconds via the convenient web app. Wash picks up your clothes, cleans with care, and brings them back fresh and ready to wear. But it's more than garments. From bedding and table linens to shoes, hats, purses, and more. Wash handles all your life's fabric, leaving you more time to do you. Visit pickupwashdeliver.com and see how convenient it can be to do the wash. And now, back to the show.
Yeah, so, I mean, what's cool too is I remember doing a lot of work for other opens and thinking oh, this is great. I hope I get paid. Yeah. That's I really hope they send this check when they say they're going to send this check. But right now, since our new point of sale, we got credit. We got an American Express card off out. So
yeah, you'll get it.
Yeah, but before we got on air, you were saying something about you write a ton of checks.
Yeah, we had an interesting day today, and it's a little story time for everybody. It might be a little lesson learned for everybody. So this is actually the second time that I've had this same thing happen with a client, and I think that it's something that is becoming more and more common. And I didn't tell you the story off the air so that I could tell it on the air because we do that sometimes. We talk too much before. So. I had a meeting today, just a typical monthly meeting with a client. I'm not going to disclose any details because I didn't tell him I was going to talk about this.
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers. But I have a handful of clients that we meet every month. We go over their profit and loss statement, kind of discuss their finances, their revenue, their profits, strategize, year-to-date stuff, just kind of go over their numbers. And sometimes part of that is if they have some transactions that we don't recognize, what they are, we'll ask hey, what was this? So we know where to book them mainly. Or if there's something fishy going on, right? So when my staff accountant finished up their transactions, she mentioned to me, hey, there's 3 transactions from May that I don't recognize. So I booked them to the suspense account. You may need to ask the client what they are when you meet with them. I just didn't know where to put them. I said, okay, no problem. I'll talk to them. I'll see them tomorrow. So when they came in, I sat down. I said, hey, who's blah, blah, blah? He said, I don't know.
That's not good.
I said, what do you mean you don't know? I said, you wrote him 3 checks. He said, no, I didn't. I said, yeah, you did. I said, you wrote him those 3 checks. And he said, no, I didn't. So I logged into his bank with him and I pulled up the pictures of the checks and I printed them out. And I said, those are the checks. Those are your signatures. Who are those checks?
Oh, his signature, it wasn't like an
They
ACH.
were written checks.
Oh.
I said, who is that? He said, I have no idea who that is. I've never heard of that person before. I don't know who that is.
Huh.
And he said, that's got to be a scam. I said, well, how could it be a scam? The check numbers are in sequence.
Huh.
Like they're not like random check numbers. And he's like, well, I don't know.
They're in his sequence.
Yeah. So the one check number was a little older, but the check was dated back in March, but it had just cleared the beginning of May. And then I noticed what was weird is that the second two checks were actually out of order considering the checks that were just clearing now.
Okay.
But they're 5-digit check numbers. The first two numbers were right and they weren't way off, but they were like, the check numbers that are going now are like 10 or 15 checks before those ones.
Okay.
So they're a little out of order, almost like somebody maybe grabbed some checks out of his checkbook a little bit further down the line.
Right.
And I'm like, could somebody have some checks? Maybe somebody took some checks out of your checkbook. And he's like, I don't know. And I'm like, well, you better go back and look at your checkbook. Does anybody have access to your checkbook? Well, no, they're locked in my desk. I'm like, well, something's going on here. So in a panic, he's like, well, I need to get back to my office. I said, okay, we'll go.
You want to disclose the total amount?
It was north of $14,000.
Okay. So it's significant.
Significant.
Yeah.
3 checks totaling over $14,000. And he's like, I need to get back to my office. I said, well, go back to your office. I said, and go look and see in your checkbook if you have a check stub next to these check numbers that maybe you wrote these checks to different people, or if these other checks are missing from your checkbook. In the meantime, I'm going to call your bank and let them know that there's something weird going on here. Yeah. You don't recognize these. The weird thing about this was his signature on the checks was perfect. The handwriting on the checks was not.
Okay.
It was not his signature. It was not his handwriting.
So I'm guilty of that. Like I used to, and I don't do it anymore, but like when we had a lot going on and
you'd sign some checks.
I would sign some checks and leave them in the drawer.
Yeah. Now he doesn't do that, but so did somebody forge his signature?
Right.
Did, what happened here? But the thing that was hard to imagine is that the people that work in his office, a lot of them have worked there for a really long time.
Right.
It was just, we're trying to figure out.
Your head's racing now. You're like, right. Dude, do I gotta fire someone? Like,
exactly. Do I have to fire somebody? Is somebody stealing money off of me?
Well,
what's
14
going
grand,
on?
do I gotta kill somebody?
Right. And now we're talking about if somebody in his office is stealing, we're talking felony level embezzlement at this point. $14,000, that's a lot of money.
Right, and that's just this $14,000. Like
right.
How much
now,
over the years,
Well, I can tell you, because we do his stuff every month, the person that he wrote this check out to, these are the only checks that have ever been written to this person.
Okay.
We know that.
So it was new.
This is new. We caught it. My staff member caught this. So shout out. We look good. We caught this. So I call the bank. I let them know, hey, this is what's going on. The problem is that he has outstanding checks, so we can't just shut down the account. He's already written checks to vendors that haven't cleared yet.
Yeah.
There's a lot more money in this account that's at risk now.
Yeah.
Right?
Every day.
Right. I can't drain the account because then the checks that are outstanding will bounce. But we need to make a move. We need to do something because we can't risk all this other money. So he races back to his office. He calls me. He's like, you're not going to believe this. The first check in that sequence, I wrote that check out to a vendor, not that person. The second check, I just wrote that check and mailed it today to a different vendor, not that amount. The first check, I wrote it for that amount, but wrote it out to a vendor and mailed it. The third check is still sitting in his checkbook.
So all the checks were accounted for.
So here's what we determined happened. The first check on March 31st, he wrote a check to his vendor for the amount due, puts it in an envelope, stamps it, takes it to the post office. At some point, whether it was in the post office, at some point, somebody stole that envelope. Washed the ink off of that, because you can wash the ink off the payee, and put their name on it and deposited the check. But before they did that, they ordered more checks.
Oh, they used the routing, the accounting.
They used the routing and account number to order more checks in the same check sequence numbers, and then wrote themselves 2 more checks and deposited 2 more checks with similar check numbers a little bit apart, so they didn't look super suspicious, totaling over $14,000, and deposited in their account within a couple weeks of it, or within about a week. 3 checks within 2 weeks.
Was the first one a less amount?
The first
Did they
one,
get bigger? They gradually get bigger?
they bounced. So it was like, I'm not going to do the math in my head, but it was like 4,000 and change, 2,000 and change, 6,000.
Because I've been part of like a credit card scammer. Like,
they do a little bit.
They do a little bit.
Yeah,
$3,
they test
$4,
it.
like Walmart, and then they bang it.
That's common, where they'll test a card and then they'll bang you for a lot.
Yeah.
So fortunately, we called the bank, let them know what happened. We made a list of all of the outstanding checks that he has, gave that to the bank. They were able to set up a new bank account, move all of his money, and they were able to upload that list of all the outstanding checks into their system, so that when those checks come in, their system will automatically take that money out of the new account
and put it back
and
in.
honor the checks.
Yeah.
Any other checks that get presented by this thief will auto decline. So his money's safe. This is the second time I've had this happen. The other client, I don't do his books. I just do taxes for him. But he told me this story, and he had about $20,000 stolen from him. But it's becoming common where people are putting bills in the mail with checks in them, and people are stealing the checks. And you have to understand, your bank information is in the bottom of those checks.
I always think that when I'm depositing checks, like, because you could go certain online stores.
You can pay with an e-check.
Yeah.
So you can buy anything online with an e-check nowadays, routing an account number, and you can buy stuff. And if you're not paying attention to your bank information, people can be taking money and using your bank account. You can wire money. Now wiring money is a little bit more difficult, but you can do ACH debits. Some bank accounts allow you to ACH debit.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ways you can move money around. So, I've heard a lot of stories where, people have given routing and account numbers and had their money sucked out of those accounts. You have to be so careful who you give your routing and account numbers to. And most of the time, people are very particular about it. Doing taxes, a lot of times we have people routing account numbers for direct deposit on their tax returns, right?
Right.
So we are very careful about how we,
handle that
information. But people don't think when they're putting a check in the mail and when sending it to the cable company that there's a possibility that money, that information is going to be mishandled.
Yeah. Anybody that trusts our postal service, I got news for you.
But think about how many times you hand a check to somebody. You got a guy that, cuts your grass, you hand him a check.
Yeah, you don't even think about it.
That's your routing account number. If you've got employees that you pay with a paper check, that's your routing and account number.
Right.
You're handing them a key to your bank account.
Which is crazy to think about in this day and age. It's crazy.
It's too easy to steal you're giving them the password to your vault.
We've talked about it on here before. Like, 25 years ago, you wouldn't give somebody your social security number. Now you go to McDonald's and they're like, what's the last four of your social? You're like,
everybody asked for
send it.
I remember when I was a kid, I think we were at PennDOT or something, and somebody asked my dad for the last four of social security, or asked for a social security number. He's like, I'm not giving that to you. That's illegal. It's illegal for you to ask me. I remember him giving some poor lady at PennDOT such a hard time about it. And I'm like, Dad, what's the book doing? He's like, they're not allowed to ask for that for identification purposes. Yeah. I remember like it was yesterday being so embarrassed, like my dad's embarrassing me because he won't give somebody a social security number. And nowadays, it's just like everybody's asking for it. You can't even go buy something online half the time. They're like, what's your social security number?
Yeah, they're like, hey, the best is when they're like, can you confirm? And they give you a list of them, and it's like, which one is yours? And you're like, holy shit, they knew it.
There's a TV show Amber and I were watching. What the hell was it called? I forget what it was called. But it was about this like arcade game or something that told you your destiny. What was it called?
Is it called Big?
No. God damn it. It doesn't matter. But whatever it was, like you had to go into this like arcade game, and it was like enter in your name, your date of birth, and your social security number, and it'll tell you your destiny. And I'm like, what? Who would go into this arcade game and plug that information in? What are you, insane? And I'm like, why is this a TV show? Like, this is just identity theft 101. Like, what are you talking about?
Dude.
But in all seriousness,
yeah,
anybody that's listening to this, you have to be super careful now. And,
I don't know, man. Checks are a pain in the ass nowadays.
And I'm not throwing daggers. I will say that both of these clients, their businesses are in or around the Penn Hills area. I don't know where this theft is happening.
Yeah.
But you have to be very careful. And I don't know if this theft is happening in or around the post office or if it's happening, but you need to be careful where you're taking this money or where you're putting these checks, because this can happen literally anywhere.
So like my biggest gripe is 90%, maybe 95% of my clients put a credit card on file.
Yeah.
But there are people that want to pay, like older people, they want to pay with checks. We take them.
Yeah.
But like, I only deposit checks probably twice a week or twice a month.
Yeah.
Like I let them stack up and then deal with it. With that being said, like maybe that's a way for me to like transition these people. But they, I always think that when I open an envelope, it's like, there it is.
There's all their information. There's their money.
Yeah, I was paying something online not too long ago and I had a stack of checks and I almost put someone else's account number in to pay what I was paying because I was like, oh, there's a check right there,
Yeah, it wasn't your check.
Yeah, it wasn't my check. I caught it.
So I've just presented a problem and people are probably listening. It's like, well, what do we do? So you have to keep your information private and here's...
What was the bank's like?
The bank actually, I'll tell you what, the bank is stepping up. He had to file a police report.
Right.
He had to sign an affidavit saying that it was for real fraud. And the bank is going to cover the fraud. So they're going to
get the
put
money back immediately, and then
they'll do their investigation,
and then he'll get a letter saying that it's been confirmed that it was fraud. Yeah, it's just like credit card fraud. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but you just kind of nailed it, right? So, a lot of times people, and I've seen this go both ways, and people get this bright idea that I'm going to go get an American Express or a rewards card, and I'm going to put all my expenses on a credit card. I'm going to pay it off at the end of the month, and then they never do it, right? So they rack up all this credit card debt, then they can't pay it off, and now they just have a $5,000 credit card bill that they can't pay off because they didn't actually have $5,000. So now they just have a credit card bill that they can't pay off. Listen, this strategy, you need to be disciplined in order for this to work. But credit cards are the most secure way of paying for things because there's fraud protection. If you use a debit card or a check, that's your money.
Yeah.
A credit card is their money. So if you have a checking account or a debit card linked to a checking account, and that debit card gets compromised, and it happens all the time. People think, oh, well, I just won't use it on a shady website. Listen, Target gets hacked. Home Depot gets hacked. Amazon gets hacked. They all get hacked. They're all subject to it. Okay, so it doesn't matter where you use that card. You can go to a gas station. Somebody has a skimmer on it.
Yeah.
I
got snapped at a
convenience
Walgreens.
store. It happens all the time. Okay. Anytime you use a debit card or a checking account number, you are opening yourself up to the possibility of somebody pulling all of your money out of your checking account. Not all banks will immediately put that money back in that account.
Yeah. Imagine if it's payroll week.
Which means, and also personally, what if your mortgage is due? What if your car payments due? What if your electric bills due?
Yeah,
now you've got no money.
First time I ever had credit card fraud, I was in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I'm like 20 years old on vacation, and my debit card got whacked. And I almost like was going to be the guy at the gas station, like, hey man,
I need $5 to put gas in my car.
Because I did have cash on me, but had I not had cash on me, I'd have been sunk. I'd have been in the middle of, wherever.
Exactly.
Being like
that's exactly
I got these
my
cheeseburgers,
point.
man.
It's exactly my point. If you're on vacation and somebody hacked your debit card and now they've drained your checking account, your bank may not immediately put that money back in your bank. They may say, I'm not going to, I also don't want to blow up a bank, but PNC Bank doesn't necessarily immediately put that money back in your bank. They may say, well, we're going to need 5 to 10 days in order to investigate this fraud before we replenish your account. Well, now, what if you're in Key West and you have no money in your account and you can't go do something or you can't get home because you have no money?
Yeah.
If you're using a credit card, then you can always go back to your checking account and you have that. Plus, with a credit card, these credit card companies have fraud protection built in where you have that protection. So when you're out, if you use credit cards and then pay them off with your checking account, you protect yourself. But you have to be disciplined, man.
Yeah.
Don't spend money on your credit card you don't have to. You have to be able to pay it off.
That's why as a business owner, they always call and say, hey, we can give you a card.
Yeah.
Because they know. Shit hits the fan, you're like, I'll put this on this card and then we'll be good.
Yeah. So budget your money. Only put money on a credit card that you can afford to pay off at the end of the month. And you know what? The more you do that, the more credit card companies are going to be like, hey, you want a credit card? You'd be amazed how fast your credit goes up and how much credit you can establish if you build that system. But that's the easiest way to protect yourself from this fraud is to use credit, pay it off with your cash. Don't use a debit card. Don't use e-checks unless you absolutely have to. Don't mail checks because apparently this new thing, they're washing checks, man.
Yeah, it's funny you say about a debit card. I, for years, carried a business debit card.
Yeah.
I have not carried a business debit card for a long time now.
Well, the other bad habit that I see clients do all the time with a business debit card, I do carry one. I always forget that I even have it.
Yeah.
I never use it because clients that have a business debit card are the ones that are constantly commingling and using it for personal expenses because they have it.
Yeah.
And it's just easy to just swipe it at the grocery store.
I did it for years. I mean, I did it for years. Grocery store, Sam's Club, personal purchases.
Personal shit, just swiping that debit card. And that's just, you can't do that. If you're an LLC or a corporation, you can't be using it for personal shit.
Yeah.
You can't be using a credit card and then using that for either. Like, that's a whole nother topic.
We'll do that on another episode.
But, using that business debit card for personal shit is such a bad habit to do. So, I just don't even. If you have one, leave it in your desk.
For me, and it's like Heartwood beverage. That's a hard one to write off,
man. Don't have it.
Yeah, I lost it, canceled it, and just was like, just never got a new one.
Yeah, don't. It's a bad habit.
Problem is though, when you the last year, there's been a lot of commingling. Buying a building and doing everything we did. We're just surviving at this point.
Intercompany lending.
Is that what it's called?
It's not commingling.
Okay, learn something. That's a new term.
Yeah,
intercompany lending.
Yeah,
yeah. So we're in the thick of it now. Enjoy it. I'm going to enjoy it while it lasts because when I was walking in here, I told Sarah, I said, July's our slowest month of the year. Just always is.
Yeah.
And I said, fortunately with this going on, we've stockpiled some stuff. Like I had some band uniforms to do in July now that I would have had done now. But yeah, it's It's a good thing to have going on. It's like tax season. I didn't plan for it, you know. I guess tax season's the same every year.
Yeah. Falls at the same time.
Yeah. So hopefully this is something that'll keep coming every 2 years.
Yeah.
You know? I enjoy it. One of the things that I was really glad about is the new brand is kind of what got me this deal.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Google helped me out. It took me, 6 weeks to get it up and running on Google. But when they were looking for a laundry company, when the guy just Googled it on the maps, it showed that I was like the closest, like dry cleaning and laundry place to the Oakmont Country Club. And yeah, it's worked out. It's been fun so far. We'll see what the next 4 days bring. We'll talk a little bit more about it next week, but by this time next week, they'll be gone. So the 19th is Thursday next week?
Yep.
Amber's birthday. Happy birthday, Amber. I don't know why I remember that. It's kind of like Flag Day on the 14th. It just sticks to me. But so yeah, I mean, I think that whole thing with checks is like, it's got to change.
It's scary, man.
Yeah. I mean, they got to realize that there's a big problem there.
Yeah. I don't know if they need to change it up where it's more of a code that's not.
Yeah, populate a QR code.
Yeah.
You know?
Something that only the banks can read or something. I don't know, man. They got to change something because it's too easy.
Whatever they change it to, though, the criminals, like people that are washing checks,
they're
they're going to figure it out.
They're going to come up with some way to beat it.
That's why, like, cash is king to me. Like,
but you can't even use cash anymore, man.
Yeah, what are you going to do? You can't mail cash.
No.
I mean, I think the biggest problem in all of it is the postal system. I'm a huge advocate to hate the post office. Like,
is there? And I've never applied for a job at the post office, but is there a background check system in order to get a job at the post office?
I mean, maybe years ago, but it's so hard to hire people. They're just taking whoever they can get, you know? I mean, I'm sure that they have, like, I don't want to knock on all the postal carriers out there because that's a real deal job and it sucks and someone's got to do it. But, I mean, it's just a bad ran operation. I mean, we talked about it on here before. They are not to take any government funding.
Yeah. But
the government every year gives them a gift in kind.
Did you know the stamps are going up again?
I'm sure.
It's like 79 cents or something, 78 cents.
Yeah, and I don't understand that. Like, so say I take in, 100 checks a month, and everybody's doesn't want to put credit cards on file. They're paying, those people collectively are paying another $80 a month to mail these into me. So they're saying that, and honestly, there's credit card fees too. I get that, but the older population is like, well, I want to send you a check. It's like, why don't you just let me run your credit card for an extra 80 cents? At this point, it's not like it's free, but I don't think they get it. I just think that they're so set in their ways. Like it's insane to me to think like anybody that's like, I want a check, I'm like, I got to find one first.
Yeah.
Your software is nice because I can print them. And like my vendors want checks, like for the manufacturing company, they want checks, but I haven't, this is pretty funny. I ran out of checks probably like 8 months ago at Doro and have not had to write a check.
Yeah.
Because it's just a thing of the past.
Yeah.
And like in that business, my vendors that I would write checks to before, they've gotten on board with the credit cards, but like they weren't doing auto pay. So I gave them a credit card and I'm like, whatever. But they called me and they were like, hey, your balance is like $2,400. And I'm like, you have my credit card. What the fuck? They're like, oh, we don't do it like that. We need to authorize every transaction. I'm like, well, I'm authorizing you to authorize it from here on because it would have been like $800. Now it's 3 months.
Right.
Like, what the fuck is going on? Why'd you ask me for my credit card?
Yeah.
So yeah, that whole thing is such a wild part of business. This is a business podcast, but vendor relationships is like huge. And for them to call me like 3 months and say I owe money, I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
I have certain vendors that I can't set up auto pay with, and it drives me crazy. I'm late every time.
Yeah, and it's like it's almost their fault at that point.
Yeah, I'm like, just can I set up an auto pay? Just take it.
Yeah, I mean, my clients that like get it and understand, like they're like, this is awesome. they don't even know how much they're paying. Like that's the other principle of it. And like any of my customers that listen to this, I'm sorry, but like if you're not writing the check, it doesn't matter how much you're like, you know what I mean? You're just getting the service. It almost is like being a member of the country club.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, it's free. Yeah. It's like when you're a member of the country club, you go there and you're like 1286. Like, and then you get at the end of the month, you're like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I think that there will be some change. With like all this technology, like checks is so archaic. Archaic.
Yeah. Got to be careful.
Yeah, I mean.
On another note, did you know that as of June 5th, it is illegal to pick up your phone?
I did.
In Pennsylvania.
I did.
While you're driving, or even if you're stopped at a stoplight.
I did. Funny thing is we talked about perfect timing on buying the van. The other van I had before I got this one, it didn't have a touchscreen. It didn't have a screen. It was just a radio. So I realized that like moving forward, every vehicle I buy now has to have a screen for every driver because they can't be getting tickets for shit like that. Yeah. We use like GPS all the time, so it needs to just be CarPlay, ready to go, which is wild. I mean, I get it. My wife bitches at me all the time when I'm texting, but like I'm a professional. I'll send the whole full-blown email. Driving down the highway. It's what we do as business owners. You're always got to do it, but like that's kind of seems a little the red light thing. Kind of, you know, I don't know. I think it's on the discretionary of the officer. You know.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I'm kind of torn because there's times that I'm guilty of it.
Well, if your phone doesn't connect or like it's somehow playing on your phone, you know, you pick it up and you're holding it and you're driving, like what's the harm in that? You know, like I get some people died, you know, and there will be people that die again. It's just part of life.
Yeah. But then there's times like, you know, I ride a motorcycle, so there's been times where I've had to dodge a car that crossed the middle line because they were texting. So
there is nothing like being on a motorcycle on the roadway to make you understand how terrible people are at driving.
Yeah.
Like it is, you know, that's one
terrifying.
of the reasons I don't own a motorcycle because to me, it's very enjoyable to like go fast and be on the bike. But like, I'm not worried about me. I'm worried about everybody else.
Yeah.
You got to watch those fuckers, you know, because like every time a motorcycle crashes, they think they were going too fast. But like, I remember there was a guy killed outside the Armstrong Tunnels in the city of Pittsburgh. Truck driver slipped his foot off the clutch, bounced over him. It's like, dude, you're just a sitting duck. You know, you got to be so alert on those things. And it's fun, but you got to be in the right headspace, you know?
You got to be watching for everybody.
But I don't know. I'm like not a big like component of like telling me to wear a seatbelt. Like I don't like, not that I'm like a anti-government guy, but like the older I get, the more I just want to sit around and watch Western movies in my slippers and drink Iron Cities and bitch about the kids on my lawn. But like I've said this years ago, I feel like you should be able to drink 10 beers, go to the DMV, take your driver's test.
And that's your baseline? And
you blow into the tube and that's your baseline, right? So give me a cell phone, take me to the DMV again, take the test, texting and driving. And if I pass, then I get a stamp of like, you know, CDLA, B, C. He can text, he can drive, he can drink, he can drive. You know, like I feel like there should be like my baseline. My buddy's kid said it and I'll never forget it now for the rest of my life. He said, I'm built different.
You're built different.
And
Joe,
I'm like,
you were definitely built different, buddy.
I'm like, that's the truth, dude. Like, you need to let people be sometimes. So
you were definitely built different, bud.
Hashtag Between Two Bridges not promote texting and driving or drinking and driving. We're not advocating for that. I mean, we are saying the post office is fucked, but we're not.
Yeah.
We're not going there.
And don't mail checks.
But yeah, in this day and age, I mean, so think about this. Postage stamps, what? 79 cents, right?
Yeah, 78, 79.
And you got to pay for the check. So you're $1 out.
Yeah.
You're $1 out for every check you write.
Pay online.
Yeah.
With a credit card.
Through Paymark?
Yeah. Pay with a credit card online. Pay with your Amex. Let them pay the fee.
Yeah, just be responsible. Pay that fucker off.
That's right.
Yeah, we have one Amex, and we're very it is
Always paid.
That sucks.
Yeah, because
So
it's
there
probably
is some
30% interest.
Well, there is no interest because we pay it off every month, but
Yeah.
it's that was a 40-year-old endeavor, and that sucks.
Yeah.
I hate that sometimes because like it's like you kind of, as anybody, you balance money in your head, but you're making like bad decisions sometimes, and then that $86 adds to like then you're like, what the fuck did I spend $2,000 on this month? Like what the fuck? But it's usually just like pouches and beer.
Yeah.
Lunches is a killer, dude. But hey, I buy lunch for my people. You know what I mean? That's what we do.
That's what we do.
We buy one hoagie, we split it 4 ways.
Yeah.
So, well, what do we got in the pipeline? Anything coming up? Anything
Just
fun?
Get through the open.
Get through the open. Crown a winner. We'll have them here on air
I got
after.
a handful of extensions I have left to do. I got to try to get done this week. That's it.
Vacation? You doing any vacation stuff?
Supposed to be going on a motorcycle trip in a couple weeks.
Oh yeah, I saw Seabax and he hit his 50th state.
Did he?
Yeah, he was in Idaho. Was it Idaho? Come on, you're like his biggest fan, dude. You're wearing the t-shirt.
Ken Burns was on Rogan's podcast.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I sent it to Nate. I said Rogan saw Seaback on ours and said, "Hold my beer. Here's Ken Burns."
That's funny. Yeah, no, he
I think Seaback was more entertaining though.
he set out on his trek to see his last 2 states like a week ago, and I saw a post that he took a picture, and that's fun. I mean, that's what we're
Imagine
gonna.
being able to hit all 50 states.
Yeah, I mean, my dad was close, but it was for work. We're gonna take the kids to Memphis, I think, July. So go see the King. He's alive, dude.
You think?
Yeah, he said I saw him in Oakmont. He's at the Open.
Is it the open?
So I'm not a big Elvis. I mean, don't roast me, but like I like his music, but like, dude was a raging alcoholic and a pill popper. Like,
Yeah. You're just trying to get us canceled.
wait, you can edit that part out, right? I mean, these documentaries.
Joe's trying to get us
nowadays.
canceled this episode.
Don't even get me started on Mike Tomlin. So, yeah, no, I got a list of people we got to reach out to. We're gonna get some good guests coming up and keep rocking and rolling. And sorry, guys, you guys were like, oh man, we finally got rid of that idiot.
Nah, we're back.
We're back, baby. So,
Till next week.
till next time. Thanks, guys.
Thank you for listening to Between Two Bridges, a business-to-business podcast. Find and follow us on your preferred podcast streaming platform. Like and subscribe, and leave us a rating and review. You can join us socially on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and X. You can email the show at info@betweentwobridgespodcast.com. Until next time, make it till you rake it.
Can't come from my jaw, bro.